Well, welcome back, everyone. Craig and Jonah here today. It's going to be a bit of a shorter one, but
But a good one.
yeah, size
Just
doesn't
how
always
I like
matter.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
size doesn't always. I got myself into some controversy, and I thought just to clear the air.
Yeah, so how did it all start? Like all of a sudden it just happened and I don't know where it came from.
So we started. I don't know. We ended up sharing some comments and conversations with Ordinary Catholic. I think her name's Renee. Sweet lady. She's got a channel a little bigger than ours. She's very she's against the trads, but I think she's probably against us too. Maybe she's coming on the show, or at least that's the plan anyway. But somehow the most recent issue came up as the last episode we put out. What was it? 141 was it? What was their last episode? Or 241? What is worse for marriage, other acts, or soul crushing abstinence?
Mm-hmm.
She took offense to the soul crushing abstinence, which maybe is a bit dramatic, but I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty painful. Like, extended periods of abstinence are soul crushing in the fact that they affect all aspects of your life.
Yeah. Well, and
which seems soul crushing, I think.
We had literally had someone show up on our comments last night, talked about because of the realities of life and all this and that. I think they've been intimate once in the last 2 years. So if that's not soul crushing, whew.
That I know how that feels, and that is soul crushing.
Yeah.
Like, at least you want to die.
Yeah.
Like once you get to that point, take me now. I'm ready. You know, like that. I literally was praying that prayer. Yeah. So, like, that's not exaggerating.
So I don't know. So anyway, she did some videos, and she and I got into the comments, and what I think happened, and this is a statement I've tried to make, and it's really hard to make the statement that it comes across the right way. I says, just so you understand, most married men, including good Catholic men, are going to struggle with P and M and P to some degree. I'm not saying it's right,
and probably more so the solo than the P.
Yeah, but
but they kind of go together for some people at times. You know, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and I want to talk about why that is, but it got communicated that somehow I was defending or excusing porn. So just so there's no confusion, I do not endorse it. Don't do porn.
And we never have.
We did an episode. It's been so far back I didn't even bother to go look for it. I did an episode like, guys, stop doing porn. Mm-hmm. Okay,
that's not good for you.
But here's what I think is part of the problem is most men, Catholics or non-Catholics, are what do I say, doing solo and porn. I don't think there's probably too many men that do porn but not solo. Like I'm not sure what the point of it is at that point. But
that's just I mean, I don't know.
That requires some self-control that I don't. Certain I don't have, right?
Oh, that's really funny.
Yeah, you better tie my hands behind my back, and even then, I don't think that'll stop anything.
Oh,
right?
Man. All right.
But here's I won't say it's a problem, whatever, but it's an observation. For Catholics, at least, and this is why it's really hard to have a nuanced discussion. I think if you ask the average person, especially men, maybe women are less inclined to make this distinction, but one is worse than the other. And I think most reasonable people would say solo is not as bad as porn, or porn is worse than solo, however you want to look at it. Especially if the solo is not done thinking about someone other than your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean they're okay. Doesn't mean that solo's okay. But I think we have to be able to make those distinctions. But as Catholics, we don't really make those distinctions.
They're all just bad. Like adultery is equal to that.
Yeah. If it's a grave matter, it's a mortal sin. At the end of the day, mortal sin's a mortal sin. masturbation is intrinsically disordered, 2352, you can't even have a conversation about whether it's, and of course, if you follow Aquinas, he would say that's worse than,
And that's
which is
backwards.
I
think it's written on most people's hearts that adultery is worse than porn and masturbation, and going solo is less bad than using porn.
Yeah. Are we not allowed to say that as Catholics? I mean, is that heresy?
But then too, we don't advocate for solo either.
No.
Like, honestly, I think that going solo is the carbon monoxide of marriage as far as being a silent killer.
Yeah.
You know, there are signs that something is wrong, like within your marriage, and maybe similar to getting a headache or being dizzy or whatever, like signs of carbon monoxide poisoning, and then all of a sudden, like, you're dead. And that's kind of what happens with marriage, as far as there's just a lack of connection. There's issues that happen on a daily basis, but they just get ignored. And a lot of it is related to intimacy and the connection that occurs because of that.
Yeah. I mean, we would absolutely advocate intimacy with your spouse. And I think most men, if given the choice, assuming that it's good and enjoyable, would prefer intimacy with their spouse over any of this other stuff. Okay.
And on the positive side too, like if there's enthusiasm from on the wife's part, the guy is going to do anything to help her and assist her through life, and like you work until your heart failed to take care of your wife for that.
And I think if you cornered men and put them on a lie detector, those that are doing that stuff are imagining an enthusiastic partner.
Well, that's why people watch porn, is to see the enthusiastic person.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. It has nothing to do with how attractive any of those people are.
Yeah, that's
most of it is the enthusiasm.
They say that porn is not it's bad because it's distortive of a reality. Yeah, it's distortive of a reality because most of the time the other participant is not as enthusiastic as they are in those videos, but it's something men crave. Like again, this is not defending it or saying it's okay, but it's just understanding why it happens. Okay.
Nope. Everybody should have enthusiastic sex with their spouse. That's our message.
Yeah. Right. But somehow and so she and I started going back and forth, and I says, well, she talked about like how men that are doing that just need to stop, which yes, fine. But it's not simply a matter of just stopping, especially if it's solo. But I said, and she was talking about how terrible it'd be if that men are doing that. And I'm like, do you think your husband would be comfortable telling you if he's struggling with these things? And here, I'm not suggesting her husband is doing any of that stuff, but statistically, he's probably not immune from that, at least not entirely.
Not entirely.
Yeah. And I think a major problem is that most Catholic men, to the extent they struggle with this in any respect at all, do not feel comfortable sharing this with their wives. I think in part because I think they feel that the response will be disproportionate to the crime, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a very sensitive, it's a very embarrassing issue, and I'm not saying that, and it's not a good idea for guys that struggle with porn to like use their spouse as like an accountability partner. That's not what I'm saying here. But if you want your men to talk about this thing, if it's part of their life, and like I said, statistically, it probably is in some respect, you're going to have to be okay hearing it without this. I don't know.
Yep, the lecture on concupiscence is unnecessary at that point.
All you're doing is guaranteeing that he's going to keep it to himself between him and his confessor.
He'll just wait till you fall asleep.
Yeah. I got to go shower for the second time today.
I got dirty.
Yep, fell in the mud. I genuinely think that in a lot of marriages, wives especially just are unaware that this even goes on, that their husbands struggle with it, because I think most wives don't struggle with this, not to that degree. Again, don't fill my comments with the fact that women, desire sex too. Yes, I get that, but it is not.
They can add those comments in.
Yeah.
We'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, please come on the show, those ladies. But it's just we have created a situation where this problem, and it's, I think, as much symptomatic of other stuff, and it's not just. She said, "Well, go do crossword puzzles, color. Get a crayon out and color. Keep your hands busy." I'm like, that's not really what's good. That's not out of boredom.
Yeah, it's not out of boredom. There's like a physiological pressure.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make it clear what we aren't saying.
But and doing crosswords or coloring would alleviate the pressure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure people wouldn't really have issues with that.
Yeah. Hey, whatever your solution is, but
color awfully hard.
color with your hands tied behind your back, maybe. So
there's a red crayon joke in there somewhere. I
don't know.
Oh man, I went downhill.
All right, so I don't want to like foment controversy, but I saw this play out, and I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but when we talk about these things and we say it happens and it's going to happen, we are not endorsing it. We're not saying give a pass. We're just, if we can't acknowledge what actually happens because we are concerned that somehow dilutes what we think should happen, the problems are never going to go away. Like this, it's a problem. It's a reality that we think just maybe everyone needs to lighten up a little bit and just normalize the conversation about it. So I don't know, maybe this will just make things worse, but if you are married, if you're Catholic and you're using NFP, especially if you're a wife, I would be, and you're having to abstain at all, especially regularly,
for longer than like 5 days.
Yeah, I got into a Twitter fight last night where someone was posting that she said it was a wife said NFP is really screwing with our marriage right now. It's really difficult, and another lady came in. Oh, what's mad? It's fertility week. And
I saw that.
I was like, week?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yes. I mean, having to abstain a week is different than having to abstain for a few weeks, or some people for months and years. Like, I don't know. It's just it's a delicate situation, and I hope that people don't mistake our lightheartedness and jokiness about this as being we don't think it's serious
or endorsing it.
Yeah, I mean it is, but it's just. It's okay. It should be okay to talk about it and just recognize it is, and not be so uptight and trad about everything. Like I just think, can we just be normal? Can we just have normal conversations about things? So,
yep. And it is good for wives to be aware that this is occurring because it impacts their marriage, whether or not they want to believe it or not.
Right. And prepare yourself. And I mean, if you really want, corner your husband and ask him. Just ask him. You're going to get a deer in the head.
And so the first response will be, "Oh, not in a really long time."
Yeah.
Meaning a couple days.
Yeah, that's right.
So
not since my last confession.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So,
but I mean, that is going to be the response. Oh, not in a really long time.
Define long time.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, it's just true. So I don't know. The guys out there know it's true, and no, the guys are probably all mad. Like, they're not going to share this with their wives because God forbid they would corner them. So
it's true.
Ladies, do it and report back. You'll be surprised.
Yeah. Yep.
No,
but
we're not. We're not.
Go easy on them.
Yeah, we're not responsible. But just be gentle. They're good guys. They're not serial perverts, whatever. They're just normal guys trying to like just get through life and
Mm-hmm.
falling along the way. And
Yeah, it happens.
so, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully, I'm sure that clears it up, and that'll be the end of the conversation. So
We do look forward to talking with you, though.
we do. I hope it still happens. So I think it'll be a fun conversation. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out there, just so it's clear. Don't do porn. Don't do porn.
And don't touch yourself either.
Yeah, don't
Be with your wife.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we're saying.
Yep.
That's our message.
Yep. Spend more time with your wife and
with your hand.
All right. Thank you, Jonah. Thank you, everyone, for
You
listening.
bet.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one.